Alright, so I've got a 2005 WR450 and I'm going to stick a hydraulic clutch kit on it. Got that in the mail. Pretty stoked about that. I put one on my V-Strom a few years ago and I really liked it. This thing is just, yeah, it's out of control. I need to put one on here too. You can go ahead and call me candy ass if you want, but I'm going to do it. Alright, so before I get this thing started, I'm going to use this fish scale to measure the pull. Let's see how many pounds it takes to pull this thing in. Oh crap. It's not even to the bar yet. Alright, so over 20 pounds. Alright, so I'm just going to go through real quick about getting this project started. So obviously you got to take all the body work off and everything like that. So you guys already know how to do that shit, so I'm definitely not going to go through that. But what I am going to show you is some of the things you have to do to feed the line through, the brake line through. So this part here, I had to take that loose. And there's a screw up under there. You'll see it on when you look in your manual. I had to remove this wiring harness right here. Let's see if I can show you. That plug right there goes into that hole right there. So you got to pop that loose so you can get that nut out, or that screw, a little bolt to get this thing loose. So that's definitely got to come loose because you'll never be able to thread that line down through there with that slave cylinder on there and there's not enough room. So definitely got to get the instrument pod loose and obviously take all that crap off. And the other thing I had to do was to loosen the radiator, because that line's got to go down through here and out the back side over here. And again, you'll never be able to thread that through there if you don't get this thing loose. So again, just look in your manual if you don't know how to do that, but it's pretty straightforward. Just take all that shit out of there, and then obviously it's got a thread through all here. I took a lot of pictures before I took it apart, which is going to help me thread it back the right way. And I just wanted to point this out. All these wires and cables here are bundled up with this thing here. I don't know what the hell that's called. Some kind of little clasp or something, but get that out of the way. But that goes around that bundle there, but that slave cylinder has to go down through here with all those other cables and wires, so you definitely have to undo that. It's kind of tricky. Got fat fingers, got to reach around there and undo that thing, so just wanted to point that out. And so now I'm feeding that slave cylinder down through this retainer here, and there's another one right there. So it's a little tricky trying to squeeze it down through there, but I got it in there. And now I'm going down through this one, then I'm going to go behind the radiator and run on down. So let's see how that goes. So the original line cable had this thing on there, and obviously the hydraulic one does not. So what I did, I got a piece of old rubber hose that came off of some emissions device. I sliced it, and that's going to go right down in there and fit in there. Wait a minute, let's see if I can do it with one hand. Boom. So it's going to go in there like that. Voila. Good enough. Alright, so I hit my first snag. This little switch goes up on where the clutch lever is. That's kind of a no-brainer where that goes. And on this end, it had these wires going into this plug, which is supposed to go replace that, and it's supposed to stick that in there. Well, lo and behold, that ain't gonna fit in there at all. No effing way. So I use my little extractor tool right here and got those things removed from this plug, And all I'm going to do is take some shrink wrap, some heat shrink, and put that around there so they don't touch each other by accident. And then I will go ahead and plug those into there. That's only temporary. Once I get this thing all done, I can go to the junkyard. We got a huge local motorcycle junkyard, and I'm going to get another one of these, and then I will cut that up actually, and then solder it and connect it to this and put it back the way it's supposed to be with this cable and this plug, and I'll just eliminate that thing. So that was my first snag right there. And I'll go ahead and show you how I got that connected on there once I do it. Oh shit, what the hell is that? Well, once I got the radiator loosened up and I had to move it around a little bit, apparently right down here is where it started leaking from. And that's probably the original seal in there. I'm guessing there's probably an O-ring in there. I guess I'm going to find out, because I'm going to have to replace it. But that's the original, whatever's in there is original from 2006. So yeah, just be careful of that. I'm not surprised it leaked, but it probably needed replacing anyway. No big deal. Yeah, the light in here is not that great, but I'm going to try and show you what I'm doing. I'm going to actually put that switch in here. This little thing here is going to go in that hole, and that's going to activate the switch when it gets pushed. So let me stick that in there. Can't really see what the hell I'm doing, but once you get yours, and you'll see where that thing goes. So it goes right in there, it goes down in that hole. Bang, there it is. So it's down in there. Yeah, it kind of sucks, can't see jack squat. And then the switch is going to get screwed into that little hole there. Let's see if I get a better look at it. Right there. And on the switch, there's a little nub that sticks out. It's going to go in that little hole there to hold it in place so it doesn't move around, and the screw goes there. So I'll show it to you when I get it in there. Alright, so there's the switch installed. That little tiny screw takes a 2mm Allen wrench, and the screw already has a little bit of Loctite on it, and it comes brand new, so you don't have to mess with that. Alright, so I did run into a small problem. The thing that holds the slave cylinder in place is this right here. This nub is supposed to go right there in that little slot, but it was way too small, so I had to get a file and open that sucker up a little bit, because yeah, there was no way it was going to fit around that thing. Not a big deal, but yeah, that's what I had to do. Alright, so I finally got that thing mounted in there. That nut, that bolt that holds that in there, pain in the ass. Would have been easier if I'd have moved the hoses out of the way and possibly taken the carburetor off, but I didn't do that, so it was a pain in the ass, but I got it in there. The other thing that's weird is that thing. So the way that mounts in there, I was trying to make it go into here, but it won't fit because this thing here sticks out too far and won't let it go down inside that hole like a regular cable does. So that's the only way I could to figure that thing went on there. So there it is. Hopefully it won't fall off. We'll see. I may take a picture of that and send it to the company and ask them if that's how it's supposed to go, but it seems odd to me. But there it is. Oh, and the other thing, makes it a lot easier if you take that little guard off of here to try to get this pin up, because you have to slide the pin up this way and get it in there, and if that guard's in the way, it's a super pain in the ass. So I just took it off. Only a couple screws holding it on, so it made it a lot easier. Okay, so I was curious about this setup here and how this pin goes through here, and not going through here, instead it's up here, and I was like, okay. So I contacted the company, and they promptly wrote me back and said, yeah, this is correct. And he said, in addition, disconnect this spring. So I did, and it seems to work fine without this spring engaged. So I'll just leave that there. But yeah, it's kind of odd, but straight from the horse's mouth. So we'll see how it works out. Well, so there it is. It's all done. Got this installed. Hot start lever installed, the cable. I had to cut this end off down here because it was going to hit my hand guard, but that's okay. I like it kind of short anyway. I usually cut them off, so that was not an issue. So now I gotta just take it out for a test ride, make some adjustments, and we'll see how it works. Well, boys and girls, I got this thing all buttoned up, just took it for a test ride, and I am extraordinarily happy. I'm freaking stoked. So the only thing I gotta do now is I have to adjust this to where I want the lever to be. That's no big deal. And then I'm going to take this and slide this back and forth till I find a nice sweet spot for it. Yeah. If anybody's having trouble like I was with a heavy clutch pull, I highly recommend it. This is my second one, and I'm really happy. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope if you watch this and you're thinking about doing it and you do it, I'm hoping that some of the information I gave you will help you out. All right. Thanks.